They see you trying, they see you stretching, they see you forgiving yourself and starting again. And every time you choose growth over giving up, you show them what strength, softness, and transformation look like in real life. This episode is all about growth in the thick of it, blooming in places you never expected, and leaving a legacy of healing, not just survival. Hey, hey, beautiful people. Welcome to the Solo Mama Show, the space where motherhood is sacred, healing is holy, and your daily hustle is a whole ministry. I'm your host, Marlene, just a solo mama of two wild, beautiful boys trying to juggle business, belief, and bedtime. This space is for the real ones, the ones holding it all down while holding on to hope. Whether you're running on grace, fumes, or just one quiet prayer, we've made it here, and that's what matters. In today's episode, I want to remind you of something powerful. Your kids are watching you bloom. I may not say it out loud, but your kids are learning courage by watching you rise again and again and again. Because let's face it, they don't have the words, right? But growth isn't always pretty, but it's powerful. Growth doesn't look like perfection, it looks like progress. You bloom in the mess, in the tears, in the decision to just keep showing up. And the world may not see that transformation, but your kids do. As they grow with you, as you grow into motherhood, as you grow into womanhood, and especially for my younger mamas, right? You are still figuring out who you are while trying to raise a whole human. So you are transforming, you are learning different parts of you. You are going from me personally from 22 to 37, and all of the phases and all the transformations that looks like, and they are watching you through it, right? And while that can sound scary, it's also a beautiful thing, because as you find comfort in where you are, as you find your footing in motherhood, as you finally start to get to the place where you're like, I got this, like, I'm that girl. I'm that mom. I'm an amazing mom. They are watching you grow through that progress. And again, they're not always going to have the words to see it or say it. And maybe not yet. Maybe that's the thing that we wish for, right? When in 20 years, when they are older and they maybe have their own children, or even before that, and they're at a point where they have more understanding and they have the ability to reflect and be like, dang, my mama really did that. Maybe then they'll have the words. But in the meantime, they're still watching you. They're still witnessing it. They have a firsthand view of your transformation. And that is a beautiful thing, mamas. Because they're not just watching you survive. They're watching you rewrite their story, rewrite your story. They're watching you bloom, right? Because legacy can be so many things, but healing is a legacy too. Many of us are breaking cycles we never asked to carry. The therapy, the prayers, the boundaries, the generational work, right? You're giving your kids something better than perfection. You're giving them a new blueprint, and you're doing that with zero support, with no backup, no safety net, through the tears, through the struggles, through the prayers, through the fasting, and everything else. And as they watch you, they're learning how to handle things also. They might not go through prayerfully any of the situations that you had to go through. Our goal always as parents, and even not just solo parents, but any parent, is to give our children better than we've had, to make their life easier than ours was. That by the time that third generation comes, they have no idea what the struggles that you had to go through look like. Not to say that they won't have their own struggles, but the point is to lighten the load for the next generation. And as they watch you handle conflict, as they watch you figure out finances, as they watch you deal with disappointment. They are learning how to in turn handle those situations. Are we doing it with grace, or we're doing it with anger? Are we doing it with gratitude, or are we doing it with bitterness? They are learning from us firsthand how to interact with the world, how to react to the world. And we are first and foremost their first teachers. And it's a blessing to be able to kind of mold them and allow them to see through your actions and through your words and through your intentions what it looks like to rewrite uh, what the story could have been, or what it was, and how you've decided to maybe remove yourself from a situation and still grow and still build and still thrive. They are taking notes on who you're becoming. When you apologize, they learn humility. When you rest, they learn boundaries. When you chase a dream, they learn possibility. When you cry and keep going, they learn resilience. Every small act of growth is a loud message. We can be more than our past. And that can look like anything for you. In the very first episode of the Solo Mama Show, I told you guys about how my first period of solo parenting was when I decided to go back to school. And I packed up everything that I could fit in my car along with my baby. And I took the 600-mile drive from New York City to Buffalo, New York, so that I could return to school. And during that time, that was a dream that I was chasing, right? I didn't get to go to school. I worked really, really hard through high school. My entire academic career, actually starting pretty early. I was always 99th percentile, right? When we were testing math, English, pick a subject. I was the smart kids math tutor, literally. One of my first jobs was being a tutor to one of the other top kids in our class. He was 99th percentile in English, but needed help with something. And I remember that because that was 5th grade. And I worked tirelessly my entire academic career, even through high school. I finished high school in 3 years. I graduated a couple weeks after my 17th birthday. But through all of the work and all of the sacrifice and all of the opportunities that afforded me, presidential scholarships to top schools in the nation, full rides, and, all this stuff. Because of familial obligations, I wasn't able to pursue those dreams. So fast forward, I'm 24 years old. I'm at a pivotal time in my life where my relationship was a little rocky. I was trying to figure out who I was, what I wanted to do next. I wasn't in a career that I felt fulfilled in. And I wanted better for me and my son. And what that looked like for me was going back and finishing something that I felt I deserved. And that was going back to school. And so that's what we did. And my son got to watch me graduate. I have graduation pictures. Actually, I took my graduation pictures with him. He's in them. And was a point in my graduation where I had my mom bring him down to the floor where all of us were. And it was after I walked across the stage, because back then they wasn't really going for the people walking across with their kids. But after I walked across and I was sitting in my seat, I had my mom bring him to me. And we have a photo of him with my hat on. And that was him watching me go after something. And it was not the years that we were up there were not easy. I call that the beginning, not really the beginning, but my first entrance into solo parenting, because I had one other family member who lived in Buffalo at the time, and that was my uncle. But as a man, that wasn't exactly like help. really. We lived in one of the apartments that he owned. So financially, that allowed me to be able to breathe a little bit. I just had to pay for utilities and stuff like that. But even so, I still had to work. I still had to go to school. I still had to do internships. I still had to be a mother. And I was determined to be super mom. So even though he was only in pre-K, I was, going to field trips um, whenever they had them, and whatever they would allow parents to go. They had a PTA. Don't know why 3 and 4 year olds needed that, but they had them, and I decided I needed to be president. And he watched me go through all that, right? And now that I am learning that rest is okay, and me taking a day is not me giving up or me failing, they are watching me set that boundary also. Do they always respect that boundary? No. No, they don't. We talk about that all the time. My kids don't care about my boundaries, but my boundaries are not for them, right? My boundaries are for everyone else, to protect our peace and protect my ability to mother them, right? But they are watching me do that. They are watching me say, hey, today I am not getting out of this bed. And it is every man for himself. Granted, we don't do that too often. And secondly, most importantly, I set up my household in a way that that is possible. That might be the day that we're eating a TV dinner, but my refrigerator and my freezer are never not stocked. That might be the day that I say, Jagger, I ain't got it in me to come chop up those fruits for you. Grab a pack of muffins. I've set up my household in a way that I have the now, thank goodness, because we've gone through the trenches. So let's not get it twisted. I've had to put in the work to get to where I am, but my kids are 15 and 4. They are not babies anymore. And Jagger loves to be a helper. He loves to be independent. He loves to do things on his own. And so I allow them to do that because I need them to be as independent as possible. And so they're watching me learn when to say it's okay to do absolutely nothing. Now, I'm also hoping that the teenager, because they'll take it and they'll run with it. He's doing a lot of doing absolutely nothing. But what is there for him to do, right? But it's teaching them that. It's teaching them, perfect attendance is not something that I ever strive for my kids to have anymore. And that was something I strived for as a kid. I actually have perfect attendance awards from elementary school, and mainly because for me, school was an escape. I was probably one of the rare kids who loved school. I was sad when we had more than a day off. Summer vacations were miserable for me. Like, I wanted to always be in school. It was an escape. I loved being there. I loved most of it was like the positive affirmations, because being the smart kid or being teacher's pet, I didn't even mind being teacher's pet. I love being teacher's pet. It comes with perks. Comes with lots of perks. But all of those things made it so that I never took a day of rest. If I was sick, I was still going to school. If I didn't feel well, I didn't even tell anybody. I was still going to school. But I've taught my kids that rest is okay. Now, not to take advantage of it, because sometimes they'll try to see what they can get away with, and I'll get my stomach hurts. Do I have to go to school? Absolutely do. Absolutely do. We're going to save that day off for when you really need it. But I am teaching them that it is okay to do that. Apologizing is something that has been humbling for me. I've had to gather my ego a couple times and turn around and say, I'm sorry, mommy did not mean to do X, Y, and Z, or I did this because of that, and I want to apologize to you, or whatever. And I feel like those are lessons that they might not be picking up on now, but eventually they'll learn. It's okay to apologize. It's okay to admit when you're wrong, but do better next time, because apology means nothing if you repeat that action, right? And I say that to my son all the time, especially the older one, because he understands. I say, if I punch you in your face right now, the first time I say sorry, you might believe me. You're still going to be like, that was a little weird. Don't know why you did that, but all right, cool, I forgive you. But if I turn back around and I punch you in the face a second time, when I say sorry, do you believe me? Does that second sorry still feel the same as the first one? Do you even think I meant the first one? So it's teaching them that, and it's them taking notes and watching me act that, right? Because what do we say? Actions speak louder than words. So if I give them principles, I give them rules, I give them strategies, but yet they never see me implement them. Or worse, even worse, I do the complete opposite. I say you need to apologize when you've done something to hurt or harm someone. But yet every time I hurt them, I say, suck it up. It doesn't matter. I don't owe you an apology, right? Like small acts of growth are so loud. And we want to be able to lean into them. Now, breaking down and being able to keep going does teach them so much. It teaches them resilience. It teaches them other things as well. And I know, especially for me, and I don't know about you guys, but as parents, as moms, we don't want them to see that breakdown. Most of our tears are cried in those few moments that we're alone. The 2 seconds in the shower before one of them burst in. Those 5 minutes that you woke up before somebody busted into your room. The extra 5 minutes you sit in the driveway before you actually come into the house. Those few moments that we can steal for ourselves, unfortunately, sometimes become our breakdown moments too. When you really just have to reach out to God and say, please give me the strength to continue while there are tears running down your face, because no matter how beautiful it is and no matter how much you might be thriving, it is still not easy, right? So maybe we teach them resilience in other ways. I try my hardest not to ever let them see me cry because I don't want them to know. But I want them to live in their innocent, childlike bubble for as long as possible. I don't care if we were on the brink of eviction. Thank God that has never happened. But even if that was what was going on, my kids would none would be the wiser, because I want them to live in the bubble of happiness for as long as we possibly can. It's also okay for them to see you blossoming slowly, right? There is no timeline. This is not a race. There is not even an endpoint, because every time you think you reach the goal, you reach the finish line, it actually just got pushed back further and further. But you don't have to have it all figured out to be a good example, because in fact, letting them see your process teaches them how to honor their own. We're not born knowing everything. We don't even become parents knowing how to be parents. There is no manual. And for some of us, the one example we had, or the two examples we had of parenthood and parenting and what that means probably weren't that great. And so now even that can't be an example for you. But letting them see your process, it's teaching them how to live through their own, how to honor their own, how to process their own. And you don't have to hide the hard. Let them see how hope works. Granted, like I said, there are certain things that ain't their business. You not being able to pay the light bill is not their burden to bear, right? But there are things that we can teach them, where you can show them that life is not always sunshine and rainbows, and lollipop gills and, fields of roses and whatever other analogy we want to think of. Life is not perfect. There are going to be hard moments. There are going to be hard seasons. And let them see how you work through it, how always believing and praying through something allows you to have hope that there is an end to that season. And growth in front of your kids, it's real, right? We are still growing while we are trying to raise them. Hiding that from them does all of you a disservice, because you don't get to live your true, authentic selves, and they never get to truly know you and see you and get those lessons from you. Isn't the point in all things for us to teach them so they don't have to go through it? Right? We don't want them to have the struggles that we had. If we are so willing to teach them about financial literacy and all the other buzzwords that are out there, right? And we want to teach them about stocks and how to save for their Roth IRA. Why is it okay to teach them that, but not okay to teach them how to be emotionally vulnerable, not okay to teach them how to work through life's hardships. Because no matter how well you set up their life for them, no matter how perfect things may be, they're going to go through something, and they need to know how to get through that something, how to pray through that something, how to push and persevere through that something. Mama, you are not behind. You're blooming in real time. And every time you choose love over fear, healing over hiding, and grace over guilt, you're planting seeds that your babies will harvest one day. They see you and they're becoming braver because of it. Don't hide it from them. Don't shelter them too much from it. It is actually a beautiful thing for them to be able to see. They will honor it one day. And but right now it's your moment to honor your season, your moment to honor your growth, your moment to say, I am still becoming her. And I am not afraid for my children to see me grow into her. I promise one day you'll sit back and you'll say, I'm glad I did it that way. Galatians 6, verse 9 tells us, let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. If this episode encouraged you, share it with another mama who's blooming in the silence, trying in secret, and healing in real time. Thanks for tuning into the Solo Mama Show. As always, keep your crown high, the snack stocked, and I'll see you next week. Follow, share, and stay lifted, mamas. Love you. Bye.